Please enjoy this feature presentation of the Crooked River Radio Network. This program may contain adult content and is intended for mature audiences only.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The arguments begin now.
Good evening.
Good evening. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but your video is not showing.
Yeah, well, here in a minute.
Okay.
It's under control. We're on the air. We're Dale and Pat.
There you are. There you are.
Hey, how about that? The miracle of technology. Or the miracles of technology. And that even goes for Dale. Dale, miracle? Get it? No, never mind. Other show. Another show.
My nemesis.
Yeah, I know. He had your wife before you did.
Oh, no, he did not.
At least that's what you think.
That's what I would you like me to call your daughter up here? Never mind. You know what? No, that would be like mean, and we're not even going to get into.
Yeah,
all that.
we're not going to go.
Because that just wouldn't be right. I really like Dale.
Talk about it causing an argument.
He's helped me out in the past. He's a great dude. I don't want to say anything or allow anybody else to say anything to disparage him.
Yeah,
so,
I understand. He's a good guy.
Let's move on.
A very gracious way out of that.
Oh, that wasn't very gracious at all. That was me being a nice boy.
Well,
I don't have to be.
Should we mark that one on the calendar?
I could throw out the facts for you if you want me to. That just wouldn't be being a nice boy.
That's all right. We'll let it go this time.
When I use the word nemesis, the only reason I use that is because he said that on your other show. Oh, my nemesis Dale is on here.
Yeah, how about that?
Oh, he started that. I just think it's funny. But no, yeah, we're not gonna. No. We're not here to.
I'm feeding
talk
my
bad
face
about people unless they're in political office or whatnot.
That's
then
right.
We'll talk bad about them.
That's right. Tonight we're going to talk quite a bit. Well, we always talk quite a bit, but that's beside the point. Subjects I want to cover, or we want to cover tonight, is going to be the vice presidential debate. And the good parts, bad parts, parts that sucked, parts that were funny, mostly parts that were funny. Then I want to take and go into a little bit of the FEMA acting. But unfortunately, if that starts getting too political, we're going to back it out. I'm going to back out of it. I'm respecting what those people that are the underlings in that organization are doing. But I'm not exactly I'm not exactly condoning what the higher ups in that thing are doing, and especially where the money's controlled and stuff. Oh, we'll talk about that as we go along. Let's get into some hot stuff, Dale. Let's get into the debate itself. And by the way, next week, if I can dig it up, I'm going to have you a treat when we come on. Look for the opener next week. You guys will get a good laugh out of this. And I'm not saying what it is, but I'm going to bring it out. Anyway.
Oh, of course, that wouldn't be next week, though.
Oh, in 2 weeks, yeah. In 2 weeks.
Hey, anytime you want to start doing this,
Well, as we get closer to
probably accommodate, but
as we get closer to the elections,
I mean,
maybe we might want to.
Well, I mean, if that's,
Look at that
I'm
haircut.
I'm open. I mean, you
Look,
have things you have to do. I have things I have to do. There may be an occasional Monday that we don't do something, but uh, shit, I'm open. I mean, like I
yeah.
said, usually I'm just,
Look at that haircut on that guy, man.
I've
I'm
become a
almost
hermit.
as bald as you are.
Oh, you got faded. Damn,
I,
you look like your son.
I washed it and it shrunk. Even the mustache shrunk. Even the eyebrows shrunk. Look at that.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! You get a clip down? I,
Look at that. You can
yeah,
see my eyes.
I
Wow.
like what you've done there.
Thank
I
you.
like what you've done
The
there.
only thing I haven't done, I haven't
Still,
shaved.
still enough to have those
Furry moments.
I like to call them those empowering brows,
Oh,
but cut down enough to.
be able to see.
It does look like somebody got one eye better than the other, but it could be the angle. Could be the
It's
angle I'm
probably the
getting.
gray hair is what it
You know,
is.
could be. Well, yeah, I've noticed that too. Because like with my beard, sometimes if I look in a
Yeah, I see.
mirror or
I
picture,
see a
it
dark
looks
spot.
like I have
I see a
a
dark
patch
spots
of
right
hair
there.
here and there's no other hair. Because the
Yeah.
other shit's gray and you don't see it.
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah,
I'm
see right there. You see that? No, no,
and
wrong
my
side.
and I
Right
am
there.
and I am going gray. How far gray? I don't know. I think.
Well, they got that stuff.
Oh, I ain't gonna do that stuff.
Well, your darling daughter, I've mentioned it a few times, and she's given me the laser beam eyes with the absolutely no, I'm not allowed. So, yeah, I've been told as as it goes.
Uh, anyway, let's get into the debate. What'd you think
All
of it?
right,
What'd you
huh?
What'd you think of it?
What did I think? What of the debate?
Yeah,
Um,
as a whole, did you get anything out
as
of
a
it?
whole, for the most part, that is one of the most civil debates I have ever seen in my whole entire damn life. Both of them seem to respect each other. There were times that Vance said, I agree with what you're saying, Mr. Walsh. And there was times that Walsh was standing there doing the nod and agree with what Walsh was saying. But it's like they kind of half-assed in certain points, believed in the same views, but had a different way of going about them. But I do feel it was really civil, and I know earlier you told me in like the last 15 minutes how crazy it got. And I'm watching this thing and I'm like, what are you talking about? Now there was
Don't.
one
What
time
did you?
that I saw that Vance kind of talked 5 to 10 seconds longer than he was supposed to kind of finish his point. But it wasn't like a big argument or anything like I was expecting. I didn't see that. These guys were very civil.
What did you think? What did you take away from Vance's explanation or answer or lack thereof of if Trump lost or not in the last one? What did you take away from that?
I mean, if Trump lost, would he certify the election?
No, when he said, will you or your candidate admit that you lost the election?" And he just stood there. And he said some stuff that danced around that question like a ballerina.
In other words, what you're trying to say is what he said was that if there were nefarious things going on, yeah, he would say something about it. And he also said, we keep going back to this, January 6th bullshit and different things like that. And they say, well, even today, Trump says that he won the election and it wasn't fair. Well, you know what? You know how many Democrats have done that in recent years? One being Hillary Clinton, that he brought up.
But you never
She
heard.
didn't. She argued against the election. She had lawsuits up. She did this. She did that. And that was what he was explaining.
But when
Hey,
it was
don't just
over, it
stand
was
here
over,
and
Dale.
try to pick on us
You're not. You
because
wouldn't. You
you've
didn't
done
hear
it
about.
too.
You
But
didn't
he
hear
said,
about
but
Hillary
we
Clinton.
need to stop this.
You didn't hear about Hillary Clinton 4 years later. I'm sorry.
No, because 4 years later, nobody was worried about her getting reelected because everybody knew that bitch was done. Nobody was ever worried about her getting elected to office again because that bitch was done. Now you have this attack going against Donald Trump because the Democratic machine does not like him. Okay.
Oh, here we go,
Regardless
folks.
of what the American people feel, whomever they may be, obviously you being one of them that does not agree with
I
Donald
think his
Trump.
ass ought to be in jail, to be honest about it.
Huh?
30 years ago, if that would have happened, if Nixon would have sent a mob to keep a vote from happening, Nixon would have got
He
hung
did
for
not
treason.
send a mob.
He would have got hung for treason.
He
So
did not send a mob.
that doesn't make.
Why do you
that's
keep
my
saying
my
that?
reference.
Why do you keep saying
Things have
that?
changed in the last 30 years politically, and nobody's done anything about it. If
No shit.
Donald
The
Trump would have,
Democratic Party has weaponized the government, the
bullshit.
FBI, the this, the that, to
bullshit.
attack people that they think are going to possibly hurt what they're
Bullshit
trying to
alert!
do.
Bullshit alert!
Come on, really?
All I'm saying, even if you would have put Trump in Nixon's place, Nixon was he was a smart lawyer, but he did some really dumb things. And if you would have put Trump in that position, and he would have tried on January 6th or whatever the date was then, whenever the vote was being confirmed, if he would have organized and sent a mob, which back then probably would have been the, what was it, the SDS, for the Students for a Democratic Society, and several other ones, Black Panthers, they would have been your Proud Boys about now. If he would have done that, Nixon would have got hung for treason. That's simple. How can people? This is what I don't understand, Dale. The man, he hasn't been tried yet. I'll give you that much. But from what these eyes saw, that man sat there and tried to overthrow the government. He tried to overthrow your
how
vote.
Have we not seen Nancy Pelosi?
You keep bringing that up, and
it was her fault.
That's bullshit.
That the National Guard wasn't there. It's her own daughter recorded her and put her on the internet. You can go find it. But this is what I'm going to get to. And I knew exactly what was going to happen tonight before it even happened. Now, are we going to talk about our political points and our little reference words that our different parties have brought up or I thought we were discussing the vice presidential debate.
We are.
I don't give a shit about fucking Nixon because that's not what we're supposed to be talking about the debate. But yet we go back to your old Democratic talking points and your old little Democratic little phrases that you like to throw out. And guess what? Anybody that listens to this show on a regular basis has already heard those. They've heard them six times.
All I'm saying is
So,
that
what are we doing?
I don't understand myself. I don't understand how somebody can elect that man with the history he's had.
Very carefully.
Very carefully. You can very carefully have your government overthrown next. And you won't have to worry about elections.
The government was overthrown a long time ago.
There won't be any elections after the next one. He's already said that.
Oh, come on.
You get me in office and we'll take care of everything. We'll take care of it all. You won't ever have to vote again.
We'll go back to...
He told the Catholic Coalition that.
Why,
you won't ever have to vote again if I get in office.
Why are we talking about Donald Trump? I thought we were talking about the vice presidential debate, not your Democratic talking points. That's what I'm getting at. If that's the subject matter, then let's talk about the subject matter. Why you trying to stick up for Timmy Waltz getting busted for saying he
said a hell of a lot more than that damn smug ass.
And he wasn't there.
He said a lot more than that smug ass asshole named Vance that could have done something about the Haitians and everything else and didn't say a word about them. Give me a break. Tim Walz looked like a fucking saint compared to that damn J.D. Vance. I'm sorry.
Well, then
that's what I saw in that whole thing.
Why is it that the majority of the country says that J.D. Vance won that debate?
Oh, bullshit.
Hey,
I haven't seen.
I don't make the numbers.
The closest I've seen it was a tie.
Hey, come on! Don't shoot the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger.
The closest I've seen has said that it was a tie.
You're like reaching. You're like,
oh
my God! Can I grab the rope? Can I grab the rope?
You're not.
Can I grab the rope?
And you're not.
Huh?
And you're not.
I'm not what?
You're not reaching.
No, because I don't need to. I don't need to grab the rope.
I'd like to grab a rope and string it around your neck sometimes.
I lose. You know, I'll eat shit.
And what do you...
Because trust me, if this show continues for any amount of time, and Kamala fucking Harris is elected president, you know that you are going to give me no choice but to eat crow. Okay? I'm going to have to eat fucking crow. So, therefore, now the difference is, if my man wins and it's time for you to eat crow, you'll just shut down the fucking show.
I will.
Fuck you, Dale. You're not allowed to talk.
I will.
Oh, I mean...
Yeah, I'll shut it down, all right?
I mean, let's just...
I've been tempted to shut it down a couple of times in the last 15 minutes.
Let's just be men about this. You know, come on. But like I said, you said, okay, let's talk about the debate. And then all of a sudden you're talking about Donald Trump. And it's like, well, wait a minute. We're talking about J.D. Vance and Tim Walz in the debate. And you're talking about Donald Trump and Richard fucking Nixon. You're like way off.
Well, you're completely, as usual, you're completely missing my point. You completely missed my point there. We can talk about anything else now.
Okay, then please explain to me what the actual point of that was.
My point is comparing the history now to the history 30 years ago. And you seem to be missing that. You seem to be missing the fact that Trump was convicted a bunch of times. You seem to be missing the fact that he had a big part in that riot at that Capitol building. If it would have not been for that man, that riot would never have happened. You seem to be missing that point. If Richard, or any president for that matter, would have done that up to that point, they would have been hung for treason.
Would have done what? What did he do?
He incited the damn riot and tried to
How did
overthrow
he
the government. He
how
tried
did
to
he-
overthrow your vote.
You know what? You taking us off topic, but I'm going to follow along with you. What did he do to incite a riot?
He went to just
What did he
watch
do
the video.
to
Watch
incite
the
a riot?
video. Watch the video.
Well, watch what video? The one where he says, "Go ahead, go peacefully protest."
Oh yeah, he said peacefully protest.
And then I heard, during. I'll go back to the debate.
And that's
During
exactly why
debate,
exactly why the Secret Service didn't want him to get down there.
And during the debate, well, I'll bring up Tim Waltz saying about all the Capitol officers that were killed during this quote unquote riot, when the only person that was killed during the January 6th riot was a protester coming through a window that was shot by a Capitol security individual. But nobody fact-checked that. The only person that was killed that day.
You know why they didn't fact check it?
A protester coming through the damn window.
Because Vance didn't want it fact checked.
So all
and
these
Trump didn't want any of that
lost
fact
their
checked.
lives,
So that he could spew this flipping propaganda.
What you want to talk about propaganda when you're telling the American people on a national stage that all these officers were killed when none of them were. The only person that was killed by one of them.
Tell their families.
Which may be rightfully so. I'm not saying that the person that passed away deserved it or didn't deserve it, but the only person that was killed was a protester, not any of the officers. Not any of the officers. So if we're going to tell the story, then maybe we should tell the story as it happened instead of embellishing it and making it sound like fucking Donald Trump rounded up the fucking army and rushed down to the Capitol and he was going to take over the fucking government. I mean, come on.
Do you remember any of the...
Let's be realistic.
Do you remember Stephanie, I used to do the podcast with?
Stephanie? No, I'm not familiar with Stephanie.
She was Stephanie Kirkora. I'm looking something up, so. She had done, right before she left, she had told me, this was probably right before Christmas. It would have probably been about the 10th or 15th of Christmas, or of December. She told me, coming in here one night, she says, I want to talk a little bit about January, about what's going to happen in January. She says, there is going to be one big-ass riot in the Capitol. Because President Trump is putting a call out for everybody to come to D.C. And she says they've invited the Proud Boys, and she named 3 or 4 different groups. I don't know if I could find that. I may have that in the archives somewhere. But we talked about it on one of her shows. This was mid-December.
Hey, what was the show that you guys did?
That was the, I got to remember. Under Lock and Key. That was it.
Which is, I'm sorry. What did you guys, generally speaking,
well,
talk
it was political and a lot of conspiracy theories.
So you got down with politics with somebody else, but that was probably somebody that agreed with your views, right?
No. I pretty much just let her talk, and I sat in with her. But, You know,
Oh, okay.
we actually had a. She actually had her own topics to talk about. She'd send me the videos she wanted to play and all that.
Oh,
She
all
pretty
right.
much put that show together. But we talked about this about the middle of December the year before she left, or the
Why'd she leave?
just she just she thought I was trying to censor her and I wasn't. Well,
Well,
yeah,
did she lean
you don't
toward the
know the
right?
you don't
Did
know.
she lean toward the right?
She was the middle of the roader like I was.
Did she lean toward the right
No,
and maybe felt you were trying to censor her a little bit? Which I will give you credit. You know, maybe that there is where you maybe learned your lesson, and
well,
now we have this open forum where
I learned my
uh,
lesson. All right.
you speak your mind and I speak my mind. But you know, I digress. Go ahead.
But
I'm
anyway,
sorry.
regardless of who it was, they told me this was mid-December that Trump was planning a rally for the day that the votes were going to be certified, and that everybody was being called to Washington to take place in this thing, and it was probably going to not end very good. Is the way she put it. This was a month ago, a month before that.
Uh-huh. Okay.
So you know, you're
So
to
she was
to
smart enough to figure it
to
out,
to
but the
your
people at the
point.
Capitol weren't smart enough
To your
to put
oh,
people
they
in
knew
place.
something was coming, but they didn't know what it was
They
going to
just
be.
decided to not do anything about it so that they could make
How could they? Trump was
a
in
big
office.
deal about it.
How could they? Trump was in office.
What do you mean? Nancy Pelosi could have called up the National Guard anytime she wanted to. She said it on tape and she didn't do it. She was warned, she was told, and she didn't do it. She said, I take full responsibility for what happened, but you don't see that on the evening news. You never see that.
I'm looking at something here.
You,
Bear with
you,
me.
you never see that. So, and the man said peacefully. And then you had some ruffians, you know, in there and shit. And Lord knows, you know, some of them could have been nefarious people that weren't even within the party that decided to cause a ruckus. But then you have the media telling you that all these police officers got killed when uh, allegedly no police officers were killed. But the only person that got killed was some woman trying to crawl through a damn window, and
All right,
somebody saw something that made them shoot, and that individual
I'm gonna take
was
an.
killed.
I am
You
reading
know.
from a place called factcheck.org.
Oh God, there you go. The fact check.
Well, we're gonna fact check this. I typed in
Okay.
how many people died on January 6th, and it comes back with several things. I'm trying to find the part that I was wanting to read to you. Where the hell did it go? Law enforcement. Okay. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da.
Oh, keep scrolling.
I'm going.
Keep
I'm
scrolling.
scrolling.
Yep, keep scrolling.
I am.
You ain't finding what you're looking for, are you?
I
Keep
just
scrolling.
read something and I can't find it again.
Welcome to the internet. You know how many times
And
I've
it's
watched something.
I'm on the same
I've
damn
learned. I've
page.
learned even something that I get an inkling that I might have a thought about. I bookmark. I do that now because I've come back to try to find it later, and that shit fucking disappears. I mean, there's people out there that don't want you to see or hear certain shit, and shit disappears on you.
Where, in a letter sent to Republican Jennifer Wexton of Virginia. That's not it either.
Yep. Keep going. Scroll on. Scroll on, my brother. What is it exactly you're looking for?
There was a line that said there was how many people had actually died and how many officers were involved.
Only one person died. They proved that that's been
there was two of them. There was two officers.
I'm not saying
there was two officers died.
Injured.
There was two officers
that
died.
probably happened. You know, people got injured, but only one person was
according
killed.
to this
that
article,
was a fucking protester. They probably had it coming. I don't know. Maybe they didn't have it coming.
There were two.
Regardless,
there were two officers that died. I just read that thing, and I'm trying to find it again.
How old was it?
Where in the hell did that go? It said it was a letter to the families and
Okay, so the fact that you're spending this much time trying to dig this up tells me you're fucking reaching.
I'm not
You're reaching. You're reaching for straw.
You're just trying to spew stuff, and I'm fact checking it on.
I'm not spewing anything.
You're spewing and nobody was killed there, and there was two cops that died during the damn thing.
Well, then I would think that information would be readily available. But yet you got to take one website and dig like 90 miles through it to find it.
Fuck it.
And you still can't find it. So that makes me wonder.
Wonder all you want to.
I'm just asking questions here. You know, if you got your information, you got your information.
All right. What else are we going to...
There it goes.
What else do you want to talk about? This is your show. You can bring up anything.
What else you want to talk about? You said you want to talk about the debate. Well, you and I discussed talking about the strike. We discussed talking about the hurricane and, you know, the whole FEMA thing.
Well, I'm afraid to talk about that.
And then I believe you put down, you know, the whole...
Because
Marty
you're going to try to,
Sherrod Brown.
You're going to try to turn
election.
You're going to try to turn what I say upside down.
What do you mean?
Well,
isn't that what I'm supposed to do? I'm supposed to argue with you. I'm supposed to disagree. That's my job.
Yeah.
Is to ask you to prove to me why you're saying the things that you're saying. I can go back and I can tell you why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm not trying to, you know, I do my due diligence. And I look at this stuff. And sometimes, hell, I don't even have to do that because I know what is going to come out of your mouth is your opinion. And that's okay. Don't get me wrong. That's okay. You're entitled to your opinion. That's why we have the First Amendment.
Are you sure?
But I try to, you know, say, well, this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. So, I mean, I'll talk about any of these things. I'll talk about anything. Hell, you want to talk about the price of tea in China? We could talk about that too. You know, I don't know how much tea costs in China, but, you know.
Let's talk about the strike.
Okay.
Let's talk about the strike.
That's
I know where you're going to come from here. I know where this time I know where you're going to come from.
Okay, well then, okay. Now, so we're on the same page. We're on the same page now because you know exactly where I'm going to come from.
Do you think, what do you think about the temporary or the tentative agreement that they came up with?
Well,
What
of
do you know
course,
about it? Tell me what you know about it, and tell me what you think.
I know what little bit I've seen. I've not hugely dug deep in, but what I know is tentatively they agreed to a I want to say 62% raise over
That's correct.
5 or 10 years, something like that.
over
I
6.
think 6 years. Okay, so that's like a 10% raise a year. I mean, shit. Hey, go talk to the guy down at the corner. He would be ecstatic to get something like that. But these are guys that are already making like 30, 40, $50 an hour.
Yep.
Now, mind you,
Is that good or
they're
bad?
working a very important job, and I understand that. Now, here's where I kind of get into the sticky wicket. I think they were already decently compensated for what they do. Now, for them to go for a raise, I don't see a problem with that. If you feel that, you know, you're underpaid, because, hey, trust me, I feel that I'm underpaid, but I'm not a union man, so I can't get a group of people to get me a raise. I have to get my raise upon merit or bitching enough that I actually get one.
Yeah.
So, but what I will agree with them on, and of course, we're seeing that in many facets of different businesses, is their opposition to, what's the word? Automation. Is that the correct word?
Automation, yeah.
Automation. Thank you, because I just said that totally fucked up. But yeah, they're them complaining about the whole automation thing. It's like, well, if you automate things way too much, well, then you don't need me anymore. And they're terrified of that because they think 3/4 of them are going to get fired because a damn machine is going to do their damn job for them.
Why do you think?
I get it why they would be upset about that.
Why do you think I retired?
Funny thing, I think we're getting a little, between the auto workers and between this, I think we're getting a little ridiculous on how much of a raise that we actually deserve. And I'll leave it at that.
We actually deserve. So what you're telling me is that. Hang on a second, I spilled something there. What you're telling me, and I'm going to interpret this loosely.
Okay.
What you're telling me is my little piddly 10 or 11% raise.
Piddly?
Is not, no, let me finish. I let you talk. Now you let me talk.
Go ahead. Piddly.
My piddly $2, $3, $5 an hour raise is not as important as them making billions and billions and billions of dollars. Is that what you just told me?
Well, them making billions of dollars is what keeps you in employment. Now, do I think you
so what you're telling me then is that you're not allowed to take
fairly compensated.
You're not allowed to be fairly compensated for what you do? You're not allowed to You're not allowed to share in the profits of that company?
No.
That's what you just told me.
You're there to work.
That's what you just told me. You're there to work.
You should make a fair salary for the work that you do.
If a company is making let's just say $16 billion.
A lot of money, then a lot of times they you have better benefits, you have this, you have that.
How do you think they got those? How do you think they got those? Do you think that the company just said, "Hey, here's a whole list of
Yeah,
A
okay.
whole list of stuff that I'm
follow
going to
you.
give you because you're a
Listen.
good worker. Give me
Listen,
a
I'm not
flipping
totally
break.
downing the union thing, but when you go to somebody and you tell them you deserve a 70 some percent raise, or the auto workers trying to get a 50 or 60% raise, I mean, come on. Now, here I am. Give me a 50 or 60% raise.
Well,
Of course, I'd be happy as pie. Don't get
don't
me
you think
wrong.
eventually it's going to come to
But,
that?
you gotta put in on it.
If
If
somebody's if somebody's making
if
$10
you're
an
a
hour
guy
now,
reading a newspaper, you don't deserve a 40% raise, a 50% raise, a 60% raise. You don't deserve that for sitting there reading a fucking newspaper. I'm sorry. I do manual labor every day.
as
Okay.
well as do most of the people in these auto companies and these other places. You'd be surprised. Now,
But they're okay,
if
but
this
the
was when
rest
I
of us,
hired into
fuck us.
this when I hired into Chrysler, if this was then, I'd agree with you because I used to sit around. But the last 5 or so years that I worked there, I very rarely got any time to sit. You were producing, or you were taking and watching a line run, and then taking the stuff off the line and taking it, putting it away, or and coming back and bringing boxes with you and all that kind of stuff. That that Chrysler came in about 88 or 89 and cleaned house on all the house. There were back then there were people that had beds made up pretty much everywhere. You'd 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 look around there, every time you seen a piece of cardboard, it was probably a liner for a bed. I agree with I agree with you there. But when they cleaned that up and they started putting your ass to work, a lot of the problem they had was your tool and die people would take and make beds between the dies. And when they'd go to lift the dies, they'd have to take the damn beds out. And that pissed a lot of the corporation people off. And that ended up getting all cleaned out. And then the work policies all changed. And they made the die makers actually work on the dies on the factory floor, and which put them to work. They were assigned certain, they'd have a die set. The dies that came out would need some, refurbishing and new cutting blades and whatever, and they'd have to take and open the dies up, flip them over, do the work on them, then put it all back together. And that was a lot of that stuff took 2 or 3 days. When you got three sets of dies that changed out once a day, you'd go through a set. You go through two die sets for each die during a week. If you were working, especially if you were working 6 days, because those dies would perform 24/7 for one day, and then they'd be turned over and taken out and cleaned up and worked on and what have you. Those guys were the ones that I thought deserved. When you're a skilled tradesman like that, you deserve all the money you can get, or all the money that they will offer you. Because if you don't get it there, hell, I'll go somewhere else, and then I'll go make more money over there. This is not. This is kind of in a lot of ways reminds me of what you're doing. You're a skilled guy, and if you aren't making the money that you want to make, you are able to take and say, fuck it, I'll have a job within a week, and you just leave and give them your notice, and off you go. And that's the way a lot of the skilled trades in Chrysler floors work. When they started cleaning that up, they had to offer of course, the union wanted them to give them more money, and that's when the wages started going through the roof for us. And it was the same way with the skill. Each you don't really have any unskilled labor in a plant like that. Each guy's got his own job. He's trained at his own job. He does his own job. He's expected to be there to make his own job perform on the time that he's supposed to be there. And then, then he's out the door and the next crew comes in. They were talking at one point about staging the next workers so that the presses didn't have to stop. We had lines on that. In fact, we had 2 Schuler lines at that place that I was working at that on shift changes, they were the people were staged there, and when the whistle blew, the one side left, the other one come on, and the press kept running. There was maybe seconds of downtime instead of 10 or 15 minutes. But that's the way it was, and that was the culture they put in there. Now, did somebody that was sitting around doing nothing, laying in a bed 4 hours a day that they'd made, something like that, did they deserve that kind of money? No. But when you're a production worker or you're a forklift driver or something like that, you're a skilled trade, any way you look at it. Because you know how that machine operates. You're the one that puts the steel in it to make, and then you hit the buttons to make it go up and down, and the automation pulls it out. Off you go. The other thing that they did that started and it's the automation concern that we were just talking about. On the automation side of that, they started coming up with these presses. All they did was they were progressive die presses is what they called them. We had 2 lines that were just straight factory lines, except they were all automated, and they fed the piece from one die to the next, all the way through it. And then you had what they called a progressive die, which had a couple of forks that lifted the piece up, shifted it over, sat it back down, retracted, and like that every time the press ran. Every time the press cycled. That eliminated a bunch of jobs. When I hired in there was 3,300 people the day I hired in there. When I left, there was 900. And now there's none. But, what, did I deserve that money? Damn right I did. I earned that. And I earned this pension I'm on, too. And if it wasn't for my international union, I probably wouldn't have had any of this. Which is where these guys are getting. Hell, I even got to raise my pension raise, or my pension raised $600 just because of the bonus.
I know, I pay for it.
You're going to pay for it in the cars.
Pay for it right now.
You're going to pay for it in the cars and that.
Yeah, all that went to the consumer.
Well, most of it did.
Well, you started to say exactly. Just say it.
No, I didn't say.
You started
most of it did.
And then you pulled your stuff back.
But that's why cars get more expensive. But they are there again.
They get more expensive because I want a 50% raise. I want a 50% raise. So
you're acting like it's a 50% raise in a year, and it's going to keep doing that every year. Break that down.
No,
you got an 8-year contract. You're getting a 50% raise that's split up into 8 segments. What's that come down to? Not very much.
Comes to a hell of a lot more than
6-7% maybe.
What us Joe Schmoes around the corner are getting.
Joe Schmo should go. Get himself a union job and make some money.
Well,
organize it.
But what I'm getting at is you're telling me, as you're telling your story, that same guy that made the bed in between the whatever or whatnot on the machine and was sleeping for 4 hours out of the day. Well, guess what? He's getting that same raise, isn't he? So,
but he's working more.
Bandit is getting.
But he's doing twice the work.
So I gotta pay out of my pocket to buy a vehicle for the guy that's sleeping in the fucking corner. I mean, and he's getting a 50-60% raise. I mean, come on.
He's getting.
I mean, there's got to be a happy medium somewhere. And then you want to talk about the strike. We're talking about the longshore workers. Obviously, you don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. But really, I mean, they settled at a 62% raise over 6 years. That's 10% a year. Now, how many people do you know that can pull a 10% raise
They wanted
a
77.
year?
They wanted 77%.
I mean, exactly. But I mean, how many people do you know are going to get a 10% raise
Not very
every
many.
single year? And if you've been there for a while, well, because okay, we got Joe Schmo down here that makes $20 an hour, and then we got dude up here that makes $30 an hour. Say back when you was at the UAW, or you was working in whether it be 30, 35, or 40, whatever. Well, you got the $10 guy an hour. Well, he's new to the job and he's trying to do his job and he's working hard, and he gets his 10%, which ain't dick. But then you got the other guy that is sleeping in the fucking corner and making $40 an hour, and now you're going to give him a 10% raise. I mean, there's a big difference.
Well, there's what you're not understanding again.
Because I used to have that discussion with my boss, because he used to always say, "But we're going way back to Lake Forest." I hate, I shouldn't have used that term, but okay, I worked there at one point. But we would get cost of living increases, and I got them every year, and it would be, okay, we're giving you 3%. But I'm like, well, and the chef would be like, well, I got the same raise you did. I just got, cost of living raise, which, whatever. I don't know whether that was true or untrue, but it doesn't matter. 3% of my wage and 3% of his wage was a whole different ballgame, So it's, I don't know. I just think that the unions, because of the current echelon in power, have been empowered to decide to get a little crazy, because I mean, do I think those guys probably all deserved a raise?
Do you think for
every
1
single
minute
one
that
of them, they probably did?
do
But
you
I
think
mean,
do you think for
60
one
and 40, 50, 60%, come on.
do you think that for 1 minute that local or the international politicians had anything to do with the fact that Steve what's his name went and made these companies pay us a decent wage? The other thing that you're forgetting
Pay you
too,
a decent wage, you were getting a decent wage before.
the other thing that you got to remember too.
I'll tell you what, I give my left
it-
nut for your $30-some an hour, and you think that you deserve, or they deserve, another 40-50% more.
Why not?
I give my left nut for that
company's
fucking
making
$30
it.
an hour.
I'll get your job.
I mean, come on.
Get yourself an auto worker job.
Let's
You'd have to move
be
to Detroit,
realistic. Hey, the whole world can't get an auto worker's job. But you know what?
I did.
The whole world also can't pay exorbitant amounts of money to buy a vehicle. What happens when everybody starts buying used cars because nobody can afford a new car anymore because of the crazy raises that have been implemented by the unions? What happens if we all decide to start buying used, and all those cars you're making, guess what? Shut down the line, shut down the line, shut down the other line, because you know what? Nobody can afford to buy a fucking car. And guess what? Nobody's buying cars. So guess what? Now you're ass out, aren't you?
I'm not.
Well, yeah, you're retarded.
And as
your
far as ass out, no.
your fellow
If you're
man.
if you're an auto
I
worker,
mean,
if you're an auto worker, no, you're not out, because there's protections in the contracts for that.
so
You
what?
get-
They're,
you
they're
get-
going to pay you
You
even
get
if you ain't making cars?
you get supplemental benefits.
Oh,
You
but
get
you're
the-
going to get paid even if
but
you
you-
ain't making cars?
You get 95% of what
But like I said, you keep running up the prices.
you get
Ain't nobody can afford to buy a damn
95% of
new
what you
car.
make.
What you going to do? What you going to do? Nobody
Unemployment
needs the car. Supply and demand.
unemployment pays you 50%.
You know,
Supplemental benefits pay you 45.
yeah. Unemployment only pays you 50% for 6 months.
Well, when
What do you do after 6 months is up?
when that's over with, and the supplemental
Because
benefits,
nobody in America can afford a fucking car.
the supplemental benefits kick in.
But you don't care about that.
The supplemental benefits kick in, and you're actually paid. I think you can go a maximum of 5
Oh,
years.
so y'all just don't give a fuck.
Well, that's why a lot of people.
What about the same guy that's working and now he's on supplemental benefits and he's on unemployment and his shit dies and he needs a new car, but he can't afford one because the auto workers have caused the prices of cars to go up sky high. What does he do? He's going to go buy a used car,
Well,
isn't he?
so be it.
Isn't he?
How
And
many-
then
do you think that?
therefore prolonging the process.
Do you think that I have always bought brand new cars? I'm on my last one right now. I have no intention on buying another new one.
I haven't always gotten brand new cars, so I mean,
And
I get it.
up
but-
until I was 20 or 30, in 1988.
But the point is,
1988 is when I bought my first new car.
the company that these individuals are working for need cars to be sold in order to
Well, that's how you're
prolong the life of their job. So you can get a 60% raise all day long, but if that causes the moderate consumer, with the inflation and all that stuff that we have going on, not being able to afford to buy a new car, what are you building cars for? To stock up in a lot? At a certain point, the heads of Chrysler, Ford, Kia, whoever, all of them are going to go, GM, they're going to be like, oh, wait, we can't build no more cars because nobody's buying cars.
Then you're
So
going to have
now
layoffs
that
until the
money
stock goes
you just
down.
got is you might as well shove it up your ass because it's pointless. That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing to the economy.
I kind of sort of agree with that.
I appreciate that.
The thing when you're an auto worker or in a union or whatever, they're out to protect their own people and get them pretty much make a middle class. And you're not going to make as much as the supervisor, but if they want the supervisors to make more, they got to give them too. Supervisors should have their own union, but most of them don't. But
But the point is, if our class doesn't function,
their
class doesn't function.
They take and when you're an auto worker, they protect you. That's all there is to it. They protect them.
Good.
They've protected me for 30 years.
Uh-huh.
Although a couple of them, I was out on the street. There was one time I was laid off for 27 months and 3 weeks. Did I get paid for? I got paid for part of it. I ended up.
But did you get paid, or did you get
all my benefits ran out?
A couple $100 compensatory.
All my benefits ran out after about 2 years.
How much money did you get when you were out of work? in comparison to what you would make if you were working. A percentage would be fine.
If it
You
was
don't
after,
have to spill out your guts.
if
or
it was
nothing,
after I had my 90 days in, I got the 95%, which was 50% of unemployment and 45% from the company. But when that all ran out,
Okay.
when all that ran out after the first 3 years, because that's how long it lasted back then, I was on my own, and I had actually, that's when I was working for Fundsville and all that other crap up there. I don't know if you even knew that part of my history. There was a little game room up in State Road that I worked at.
I remember the name Fundsville.
Because I needed the money.
Wait a minute. Up there by the bowling alley and shit?
Yep. I worked
the State Road Shopping Center?
I worked there for about a year and a half.
I've been to Fundsville more than once. Hey, you may have gave me some fucking quarters. I don't know.
Probably.
Who knows?
I stood tall behind that desk, buddy.
Hey, you do what you got to do.
But
that's what you do.
When the money ran out, then you have to keep yourself alive, and that's what I did. I got hired in up there, and I went to work up there for about a year and a half. And then somebody else that I worked with, wife was working as a secretary there, and her husband was in employment at the plant, and told me I was going to be back within 4 weeks, and I got told by the owner, "You're done. You're finished. Give us the keys back. You're done." And that was the end of that.
All right, but here's my question. Obviously, we've seen that, you've had to digress and go back into the working class, as I like to call it.
I'd never do it
and,
again.
to keep your bills paid and, put food on the table. And you've obviously went out there and you've handled your business. Okay. And you know the struggle just like anybody else would. Okay. Do you really think that the auto workers, or let alone, because, we're talking about the, what do you call them? The longshoremen. I'm not sure, whatever. Do you really believe, a 70% raise is
I thought, to be honest,
fair? I
hate to admit this, but I'm going to play Republican here. What the fuck were you thinking? You trying to ruin the economy? That's what I was thinking. You're going to drive.
And they knew they could.
By the time you're done, every year you're going to drive the products that come through this port up 10%. I hate to say it.
Oh, it's like I said, just like with the auto workers.
I'm glad they got it.
Happened.
I was glad to
My
see
truck
they got
cost
it.
$15,000 more.
I was glad
it's
to
the
see
same thing all over again.
I was glad to see that they got it, but I thought
and
it was
now
a bit much.
and now you're setting a precedent for other unions to throw out these exorbitant amounts of money, and if they have enough pull in the things that happen,
that's not.
They're going to get it, which is going to.
You're not getting the concept of unionism.
The trickle down effect is going to trickle down into everybody else's.
You're not getting the concept of unionism here. No,
I totally get the concept of unionism.
When you go, you take
I understand.
You take the companies of the you take
get fair wages.
You take the four companies of the the big three here: General Motors, Chrysler, and Ford. Those three talk between themselves and decide what they're going to give the auto workers. The auto workers go to them with a list of grievances and whatever, and say, we want this, this, and this. And on top of that, at this contract, we want this much, and this much. And they barter back and forth. You have to understand that over the course of the last 20 years before I retired, Chrysler was standing there with its hand out going, give, 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 give. Come on, come on, come on. Give me more, give me more. You're getting paid too much. Give me more, give me more. We're going to take this back. Give me more, give me more. We're taking your cost of living away. Give me more, give me more. And this went on for 20 some years, Dale. Now, all of a sudden, these companies virtually and otherwise are making money hand over fist. There ain't no doubting about it. They were making more. They've made record profits. Now, after give me more, give me more, give me more, give me, come on, give me some more over here. Give me your cost of living. Give me your Christmas bonus. Give me. After all that, do you think they would offer us a decent package? So no. Okay, so we enter the where Steve can't remember his last name. I'm terrible at names. Steve comes on and he says, "All right." He says, "Ford, what are you going to give us?" They come back with a counter. "GM, what are you going to give us?" They come back with a counter. "Are you going to make any of this stuff up we've been giving you?" How about Chrysler? Chrysler, what are you going to what are you going to give us? Well, Chrysler says, "Oh, if we got to, we'll give you a 1% raise and we might give you your cost of living of 2 or 3 cents for the whole year or for the whole contract. We'll give you 2 or 3% of that back." What? How much are you making? You're making record profits, and that's what you're going to offer us? Okay, now you're Steve. Steve Ryan? I'd have to find. You're Steve's. You're the head of the United Auto Workers. You're the absolute top guy. Nobody on top of you. You're the one. What do you think you're going to do? Are you going to just sit there and say, "Okay, Ford and GM, let's just keep giving you money and keep giving you money and letting you make all this profit, and then you're going to screw us in the end anyway. Let's just keep this going, keep this going." No. You're going to say, "I've had enough for the last 20 fucking years. I've had enough of you taking and taking and taking. You're going to give this time." And that, my friend, is why that contract came out like it did. He thought to himself, the big three has never went on strike all out together. If we take them out, it may cause a panic in the economy, but by God, we're going to do it. And this is why they got what they did. This is why I got a $600 a year bonus for Christmas. This is why I got a 1
So at
point.
the end of the day, you're happy because you're getting a monthly check because you were a
I'm actually getting.
So let's say to the fans, we have a
Yeah,
gentleman
you're
here
trying to
talking.
you try to ignore the fact that they did this shit
No, I'm
in the
not.
past.
But what
and
I'm saying is,
we're not trying to get ahead. We're just trying to get even.
when you look at a 40 to 50% raise,
Apply
and
that over 20 years.
that's not what I'm getting
Apply
at.
that over 20 years.
When you look at a 40, 50% raise, okay, so you guys, obviously, hey, listen, if I got given a 40 or 50% raise, I'd be the happiest guy in the fucking world. Don't get me wrong. But do you think the company is paying for that? They're not.
Their profits are going to come
The
down because
company
of it.
ain't paying shit.
The profits are going to come down
consumer
because of it.
is paying for that.
The profits are going
The
to come down
consumer
because
has
of it.
to
They
pay
already
for that.
have.
And now then you have record interest rates. So you have, like me, a car that went from 55 to $70,000, and then you go to buy the vehicle. Your interest rates are up, you know, under the current administration, and now you're trying to handle it. You can't afford it.
Well,
So if nobody's going to buy a car,
the
what
dock
good did
workers
it
will.
do you to get all this money?
The dock workers will. The oil rig people will. Anybody that's
And
in a union
exactly,
will.
they have. But who's going to pay for that? The consumer,
Well, they got money.
like you and me. Like you think, okay, these guys got a raise, but you know what? Guess what? You're retired, and yes, you did get. You said a $600 a month raise in
It wasn't
your
a month. It was a
pension
year.
or whatnot. But at the end of the day, when you go to the grocery store, or you go here, or you go there, or you do this, or you do that, you're fucking paying for it. And you're going to pay every nickel that these guys are fucking making for I don't know, the guy that's making a bed on the machine, you're going to pay for that because
So the day of the beds are gone.
you have to.
The day of the beds
You
are
have to
gone.
pay it now.
That guy's actually working as hard
So
as
the
anybody
company
else.
did not lose anything. The company said, "Okay, you're right. Fuck you. I'll give you the money," and then they just charge everybody else. So the guy at Chrysler, even though he gets a big discount for working at Chrysler, when he goes to buy a car, he's still going to pay a hell of a lot more money for it than he would have
Well, so
a couple years ago, because, well, the price of the car is higher,
that's
so now your discount is lower. You're still, nobody's breaking even on that. Um, they're gaining, but they're losing. Now, mind you, an auto worker is going to say, okay, uh, well, I don't need to buy a car every couple of years. I can buy a car every 10 years. Just throwing a number out there. So, well, this isn't
I'd
going to
say every
affect me
5.
until I got to buy a car in 10 years. Okay, fine. But the longshore workers, that thing, you don't think that ain't going to trickle down into the economy? And let's just say Donald Trump gets elected president, all of a sudden, when price of goods are up and shit like that, oh, inflation is all Donald Trump's fault. Oh, Donald Trump did this. I mean, everybody's going to pay for it. It's you think the people that run the longshoremen are paying that money? No, I don't give a fuck how many billions of dollars they made. They're not paying for it. We will pay for it. We, as consumers, will pay for it. And that's what I think many people are missing. You know, I want everybody to make a great wage. I want everybody to make enough money to handle their business. I mean,
I do too.
hey, listen, auto workers, longshore guys, if you can get someone to give you a 60% raise, God bless you, because you just got somebody to give you a 60% fucking raise. But you know what? That longshoreman that just got a 60% raise, he's gonna pay it back every time he goes to the fucking grocery store. Every time he goes to buy this, every time he goes to buy that, he's gonna be paying it back.
And right now, that's all the
But
Democrats'
what
fault.
about us?
That's all
that
the
aren't
Democrats' fault.
Huh?
And that's all the Democrats' fault. Don't you think it's kind of funny that they got to
No, I didn't say it was
No.
the Democrats' fault. I did not say that.
Don't you think it's kind of funny that they're going to wait that contract if they don't ratify it by the 15th of January? Don't you think there's a reason for that? Think about that.
Oh, that they're holding it out until after the election? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Kind of
Well,
smart for the old people, huh?
Oh, so you thought I missed that one?
kind of smart for the old people,
No, because they want to wait, and then hopefully, if
it doesn't go through, it's going to be all Donald Trump's
if
fault.
the person they want elected doesn't get elected, then they're going to fuck everything up.
It's all Donald Trump's fault.
And cause an uproar.
It'll all be Donald Trump's. It happened on his watch.
That's exactly. You know what? See, you just played Republican.
Oh God,
you
I
don't
love
even
this.
fucking know.
I love this hour, Dale. When this started out, I was about ready to pull the plug on your ass. Now you're making me laugh.
Well, why would you want to pull the plug on me?
Because I wasn't agreeing with what you were saying, and you weren't listening to me.
God, I've been listening to you for 26 fucking years.
You never fucking listen to me. It's no wonder your wife complains as much. Oh, I didn't say that.
I've been listening to you for 26 fucking years.
What?
Dang.
My wife says we're like an old married couple. The odd couple. That's me. That's the grumpy one right there. That's the grumpy one. Right there. That's the grumpy one.
I'm the grumpy one?
You're Felix?
And I'm Felix.
Really?
I'm Felix. I'm the one that's
oh, dang.
No, not gay. I'll kick you. Yeah, I'll show you gay. I'll show you gay, lady.
That was some funny shit right there. So you are okay. So you're the gay one. I'm the one that
you're the grumpy asshole.
I'm the grumpy one. You're the gay one. Okay. Well, all right.
Well,
I'll accept that. Thank you, Flora.
What was Felix and what was the other one's name? Oscar. You're Oscar. You kind of look like an Oscar too.
Oscar the fucking Grouch.
Yep. Anyway,
no, I speak for what I believe, and I don't candy coat it.
I do too. But there are sometimes I really think you miss what I'm trying to say because you don't listen to me.
Well,
now
if I'm missing what you're trying to say,
you sat and listened to me this last half hour, and you understood.
Maybe you need to be more clear about what you're saying instead of talking in circles.
I think you got most of the points I was trying to make, especially when we started about talking longshoremen.
That's the thing. Sometimes you talk in circles,
and sometimes, most of the times, you don't listen to me.
But I'm telling you, just blast me and tell me what you feel and what you think.
I need an air
horn.
That's
what this is all about.
I need an air horn.
That's what I do.
Wait a minute. I know what I can do. Hang on a second. I can give you, if I need to.
What are you?
I can give you one of these. Hey, Dale. Listen to me. I need that one. I'm going to have to find that one. I'm going to have to. And then there's this other. You want to play little sound effects? All right.
Yeah, I got a bullshit button.
Fuck off!
Uncle Ed bought it for me.
Fuck off!
I got it right by my microphone.
You hear that? You're not listening again.
Fuck off!
I can't hear nothing.
Fuck off!
Oh, okay.
Just fuck off. All right.
I got a bullshit button.
Let's put this beast to bed, and we can say.
And the lesson we learn from this story is.
I guess we'll have
to. You don't even want to get into FEMA and all that shit. Okay, we'll save that for the next show.
Yeah, we can save that for down.
Yeah, maybe
I'm not really
better information.
I want to dig some more stuff up on that.
Yeah, you better.
I'm getting the stuff I was reading on that is all conflicting.
Me too.
Some things are saying that FEMA's trying to hijack stuff. Some of it isn't. Some of it's saying that they're kicking workers, even with the training and everything they require. They're kicking.
Well, you got Kamala Harris saying that these people in these areas are only going to get $750. But then I've seen conflicting things saying that there's also other federal aid coming But she said in the speech, "Oh, we're helping everybody. We're going to give you 700. If you just had your house fucking chucked down and you ain't got nowhere, and somebody says, "Oh, here,
All
take my
right.
$750. What the
I,
hell are you going to do with that?"
let me
I
find.
mean,
Let me
I
find
mean, I know
something
you
here.
probably got insurance and stuff like that,
I
but
want to. I want to show you
yeah,
some. You want to.
so
You want to think.
there's definitely conflicting shit going on there.
You want to talk about egotistical bullshit. Let me show you.
Egotistical bullshit.
Let me show you
I
something
wasn't
here.
talking about egotistical bullshit, but come on, hit me.
Let me show you something here.
All right, show me something.
I got to get it on here. So hang
Some
on.
egotistical bullshit.
This is bullshit that came from the Summit County head of the EMA. I got to get this.
The EMA, which is apparently, I'm guessing there wasn't enough people that were affected for them to feel that
There was one
we needed
home that
help.
they showed on the news. This old couple, the guy was getting ready to retire, the woman was already retired. They suffered $65,000 worth of damage to their house because
Oh, I
of
can imagine.
because the whole basement blew out right
That
from under
was
the damn house.
that was a nasty fucking storm.
And
I mean,
so you're just gonna tell these people, oh fuck you, we got the money, we ain't gonna give it to you. Who
well, I ain't
cares?
telling them shit.
They're doing it.
It
That's
looked like
basically what they're
FEMA.
telling them.
FEMA told them.
That's
FEMA
basically
told them that they wasn't getting
by
shit.
the looks of that arrogant letter. That's what they're telling them.
It
Well,
looked like FEMA
we
said they
got
wasn't getting shit.
we got ours. We don't need to give you any.
Did you read the letter? It seems like FEMA said they weren't getting shit
That's what it was.
after.
But who
So
represents
we're talking,
FEMA?
at the end of the day, not about the representative, but about FEMA, and that was something we were supposed to get into with the hurricane, but you didn't want to get it political. Well, there's no need to get it political. You have FEMA already, there seems to be problems in the South with the way things are being administered and some things that have been said. And then you got this new hurricane that I guess is pushed up to a Cat 5 that's about to roll through there shortly after your boy Mayorkas said, well, FEMA doesn't have any more money. We're broke. And then you find out that about $1 billion has been spent
Oh,
on
don't go into the fucking immigrants.
not getting political.
Yes, you are.
Political. I'm
Yes,
just saying.
you are.
This is where they say
The immigrants
money
ain't
has gone.
The immigrants ain't got
Now-
nothing to do with that
Now
money.
all of a sudden, the American
No,
people
bullshit.
are about to get fucking
Give me that
flooded
bullshit alert
and
button.
fucked up.
That's what this is.
And
I told you I didn't
and
want to make
they,
this political.
They're saying we got nothing. We got nothing for it. We got no money. We got no money. So I'm not talking about any a person that is politically involved. I'm talking about FEMA.
You can't take FEMA money and give it to immigrants like that.
Well, apparently it happened. It's already been shown.
Who funds FEMA? Who do you think funds FEMA?
You and me.
I would think Congress, right? If they needed more money, you'd
The
think they could
federal
go to
government funds FEMA.
Well, they could. The federal government is your Congress. Don't you think Congress could take and, because of these disasters, give FEMA more money? That would.
But why would you need to give them more money when you spent money?
If they're so poor that they can't afford another disaster, what bullshit? How much in taxes do you and I pay? How much in taxes do you think this government makes more money than you'd ever believe? And for them to say, "Oh, we can't afford that." We can't afford it because we don't want to afford it.
I'm just telling you what the guy said.
We can't afford it.
You want me to show you the video?
No, I don't care to see the video.
Okay,
That's
I can
not
show
the
you the
point.
video.
It's not the point.
I mean, come on. I'm
You're
just
missing
telling
my
you
point again.
what they said. I am just merely speaking what they said. And I'm more than happy to back that up.
You're missing my
with
point
video
again.
showing the gentleman saying that.
You're missing.
Okay, I have no problem with that. And obviously you don't want to hear that. But
You're missing my point again.
What's your point?
My point
What
is,
the point?
don't you, with the government making so much money in our taxes and everything else, don't you, they could afford to get off their damn wallet and give FEMA enough money to operate through these things.
So you're another
You have
one
an
that-
emergency fund and everything else. Why did I not use it?
Well, that's your people we're talking about.
Oh, now we're going to. I told you I didn't want to politicize this, and here you
I mean,
go.
come on,
Here you go.
come on. Who holds the purse strings?
Bullshit.
Who holds the purse strings? I mean,
Congress and FEMA hold the
you're gonna.
Congress and FEMA hold the purse strings. That's who holds it. You can't just blame us on a president or vice president or whatever.
I'm not.
Yes,
I'm
you
just
are.
saying. Let's look at the whole scope
Well,
of
I'm
the
looking
whole
at the whole scope, and I ain't
situation.
looking. And I'm not liking what I see. Those people are
And you
suffering.
know what? I don't like it
You
either.
know, Congress
We're in
should get up.
agreement.
Congress
We're in
should get
agreement.
off its damn wallet and give FEMA a little bit of money to run.
But it seems to be nowadays getting off the damn wallet means just printing more money, and that further
Well,
causes the other
it don't
problems
matter
that
what
we have
president's going to be in
going
there.
on
That's going
right
to
now.
happen that way
You know,
because the
I
government
mean,
spends money recklessly, and
yes,
it's
yes,
not, and
absolutely. You
it's
just
just
said it.
not, and it's
You just
not
said it.
just one party.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not picking on anybody right now, but
Right
I
now.
have to say that do I think there would be a different situation if a different person would be in office? Yes, I think it would be a different situation.
I don't know about that.
Now, we're not trying to talk politics or whatever,
I'm
so
not.
I won't get into it. But the fact of the matter is, you have this situation going on right now, and it's not good. You know, it's not good.
Okay, where's your state senators in all of this? Where's good old JD, the guy that when he was
We're
elected,
sharing.
I knew he wasn't going to be around for more than 3 years, and boy, I called that one right.
We're sharing.
That's another good question. Where the hell is Sherrod?
All
He's
right.
running for
So
office.
we're in
He's trying.
agreement on that.
He's trying to dodge the bullets
We're in
that
agreement on that.
that
You got you
idiot
got you
Marino,
got
who I
Sherrod.
it'd be
So
a
you got
cold day in
Sherrod
hell
trying
before
to
I'd ever vote for that guy.
you got Sherrod dodging bullets, and then you got Vance. He's on the campaign trail, and he's probably not necessarily paid attention. But
He
what's
ain't done
going
shit
on
since he's
down
been in
there?
Ohio.
It ain't in Ohio, so neither one of them apparently give a fuck, because it ain't going on in Ohio. You know, apparently that's
Well, that's
the
just it. Part of it
mentality.
is going on in Ohio. They
You
just ain't
know,
going to pay for it. Anyway, I think we can wrap this for tonight. We got an hour and 37 minutes in the can. I suppose we can wrap her up if you're ready. Are you ready?
you're done. I'm done. I could go all night.
Uh,
Okay, we can keep it this for another 2 or 3 hours.
yeah,
Shit, I
you
don't give a
might.
fuck.
You'll be talking to
But
yourself.
well, that's what I'm saying. If you're done, you're done.
Yeah, I think
But
I think we can call it for tonight. I got a couple
you've
things
had
to
enough.
wrap up here. Yeah, I've had enough of you.
You've had enough.
Yeah, I've had enough of you.
Yeah, Justine says that all the time.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap her up here. As always, it's been fun, Dale, even though I get pissed off at you sometimes.
Hey,
But
that's what we're here
there
for.
again, that's why I try to turn the tables when I can. I got stay tuned for the next Art of Argument. There is going to be an awesome beginning if I can remember to pick it up. You'll definitely get a kick out of it, and you'll see what both of us are about. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap her up here. I will thank you all for listening. Hope you gained a little bit of opinion out of this. You never know. But with that,
Once again, that's the goal.
that's right.
They don't have to believe me. They don't have to believe you. But maybe we get somebody to say, all right, well, somebody says something that made me think about something, and then they go and they do their own due diligence, so that they can, education,
Yeah, that's what we're here
they
for.
can properly vote when they go based upon what their views are.
Yep.
That's what we're here for.
All right,
you
Dale.
know.
As always, thanks for coming in with us. We will see everybody in 2 weeks. Next up this week is Four Guys on Sports Saturday morning. We will be discussing that idiotic, disgusting, and they ought to fire Stefanski Browns. And although I don't know how good that would be. Then after that, we got the radioactive show coming Sunday night, as far as I know. Already got a couple topics in mind for that one. And then coming up after that, Monday night will be the Nanosecond podcast. He told me he had a guest, but he didn't tell me who it was, so we'll just leave it at that. Until 2 weeks from now, have a grand week, and say goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, and God bless to everyone.
7-3, y'all.